Hello everyone, welcome to Nick Barlow Radiology, and in this episode we're going to be talking about the Reporting Radiographer Special Interest Group, and I'm delighted to have with me my two friends Helen and Selina. Helen Watts is an advanced practitioner at South Tees NHS Trust and lead radiographer for North East and North Cumbria Imaging Network, and Selina is also an advanced practitioner reporting radiographer at South Tees Hospitals NHS Foundation Trust. Welcome guys, thank you for agreeing to do this. I guess the first thing I want to ask you is just to tell me a little bit about yourselves, because that'll just inform us as to where the group's come about. So Helen, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I can do. So like you said, I'm a diagnostic radiographer by background, a reporting radiographer, and really passionate about kind of education and high standards and advancing practice in radiography in general, to be honest. I do a lot of work with workforce because that's my area of passion. I've worked with Selina for a long time now, and we are really lucky in that we work in quite a large reporting radiographer team that's grown quite significantly over the last kind of 5 to 6 years. And I think one of our motivations for putting this group together was that we knew that there were other trusts and other pockets of reporting radiographers who were maybe a little bit isolated. And we literally had a conversation over coffee, and it snowballed from there, I think would be accurate. Selina, would you think so?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so I'm a reporting radiographer, work with Helen. At the time, I was probably only had a couple of years under my belt. I've got a few more years now under my belt, so maybe about 4 years, coming up 5 years, qualified in reporting. And I think for me, when I was doing the training modules and the courses, I realised how lucky I was to be part of a big team, to have all of this support from reporting radiographers, but quickly identified there were other people who were less lucky and maybe felt a bit isolated, struggling with support and help to sort of complete the studies and to continue the practice at their own trusts. So that kind of started or sparked a conversation or an interest, just kind of wanting to provide that piece of support for others.
Brilliant. And am I right that this was intended to be an interest group for the Northeast, wasn't it, originally? And
Yeah.
And it's kind of developed from there, hasn't it? But I think it's
Yeah.
a really good point that in the UK, because I know there's quite a few listeners that don't practice in the UK, but in the UK, even though radiographer reporting is very well established, there is massive variance geographically in terms of team size, in terms of support and resources. So I think when I first saw it, I thought this is a brilliant idea because it allows an online platform for people to join and network, share experiences and frustrations and share learning. So I think it's brilliant. What level is this group aimed at then? So if I was a student, would I be able to join, or is this group mainly for already qualified reporting radiographers?
That was a really kind of difficult conversation that we had early on. Initially with me and Selina, and then the first ever SIG meeting we held was very much about kind of what does the group want, what should the group look like, and what are we trying to achieve? Because me and Selina are really keen that this isn't our group. We facilitate it and we kind of organise things and move it forwards, but it has to be member driven. And I think when we talked about peer support, we felt it was really important that this group was aimed at specifically qualified reporting radiographers and trainee reporting radiographers who were kind of in a training programme. We have had interest from people interested in a reporting career kind of in the future. And it's been really difficult because we want to support those individuals and encourage that career path. But I think, first of all, we wouldn't have the technical capability to deal with that bigger numbers. But I think the other side of it as well, it's nice to have somewhat of a level playing field when we're having those kind of conversations about challenges and barriers. And I think it's nice to be on that little bit of a level, maybe.
I think what the other important thing was, we wanted to create a safe space for people to be able to come to talk with no judgments, to express any help that they might need or any issues that they might be kind of experiencing. And to be honest, when we first really established this, we didn't really know how much of an interest there was going to be. So we didn't really think it was going to be that successful, really, or as successful as what it is today. So we kind of really wanted to just make sure it was for qualified or trainee reporting radiographers, and because I think it's hard to accommodate for everybody's needs. So we really wanted to try and keep those needs specific rather than open up different levels of experience. And that's where we kind of got the direction from.
Brilliant. And, both of you are based in plain film reporting or conventional X-ray reporting. Is this group open to people with an interest in, say, CT reporting? Because it's reporting radiographer special interest group, but that doesn't necessarily mean just plain film, does it? So is it just for plain film, or are you trying to maybe expand out a little bit into CT/MR?
I'd like to signpost at this point, there's a very, very good CT head reporting special interest group who, in our early kind of inception, we reached out to some members of that group to see what worked well and to learn from them. So I would definitely signpost in their direction. We aren't specifically plain film or projection radiography. We've got a much heavier kind of content related to that, and the majority of our members are probably from that background, but we're certainly not strict on other members joining, and we do also encourage, if those other people are from a different kind of background, be it GI, fluoroscopy, to bring that content into the mix, and if they want those kind of topics covering, please let us know what you want, and we can bring expertise in from elsewhere, or let them do the talk and let them bring the case studies, because even if it's not specifically plain film, it's sometimes more interesting to learn about different modalities and different pathologies. But yeah, I would say we are majority projection radiography, purely possibly because of our background.
And I think what I've started to realise is there's a lot of little pockets of unique extended scopes of practice that goes on. There is quite a wide variation of what people do in their advanced practice and what they actually report in. And I think because there's so many different unique little pockets, they don't have that kind of support group where they can go to, so that they've come to us for support or to kind of have a little bit of guidance or for a bit more interest, and they might have a bit of plain film reporting background alongside with it. So I think it's not something we're against, but we do kind of obviously say that you're welcome to join, but a lot of content is geared towards plain film. But please, contribute or comment or wherever you like to.
Yeah, and in my experience in plain film, although there is this robust postgraduate training program, there are certain elements of reporting that often get overlooked. So I'm thinking things like dental. Most reporting radiographers don't do pediatrics, for instance, so that's something that's got to be learned at a later date. Certain elements of abdomen reporting, like colonic transit. I did a video on colonic transit studies because a lot of people were unsure as to how to report them, because it's just abdos are covered in usually one session, and it's left to get on with it, which isn't ideal. So this group is brilliant because people can, as you say, they can bring in their own areas of expertise, and everyone can learn from it, which is brilliant. Because if you don't have other reporting radiographers at your trust that specialise in those areas, you're never going to get that opportunity to learn unless you're lucky enough to be able to sit in with radiologists, but they don't always have time for that, do they? So yeah, this is a great opportunity. How often does the group meet? Does it meet at different days, different times? Because everyone's different, aren't they, with their kind of working schedules?
So initially, when we set up, we didn't think it was going to be as popular as what it is, and we thought maybe 3 meetings a year. We thought because obviously this is done in our own time as well. So we for quite some time have done a lot of the meetings on an evening between sort of 7 and 8. But as time's gone on and the group's kind of expanded and there's been more of an interest, there's this kind of interest in wanting to contribute to different meetings has kind of snowballed. And also it hasn't necessarily all been about, like looking at images or ways of reporting. A lot of it's been around service developments and different sort of research ideas as well, and just kind of sharing, different topics or interest. And I think that interest has created the need for more meetings. So we've had quite a lot of meetings, maybe like at some point one every month. And then recently we trialled a lunchtime kind of time, about 12 till 1, and we found that was really successful and really popular. So going forward, we'll probably look at keeping those kind of times at a lunchtime, and possibly some on an evening, and kind of keep that variation so it suits everyone. But we do record all meetings as well, so if people can't make them, then they can access the recordings of the meetings at a later date when they do have time.
Yeah, and we know that the engagement with the recordings after the sessions is really high as well. So it shows that people are doing the catch-up side of things as well. So it's worth us recording, it's worth us using the sign-ups. And we've been really supported by the Society of Radiographers to use that sign-up space as well, which has been fantastic. Tracy O'Regan in particular really, really supported us in setting up this group. And yeah, we're very, very grateful for that.
And it's brilliant piece of CPD as well. It's great for CPD opportunities. Yeah, I'm thinking of HCPC audit looming on the horizon. So it's one, potentially 2 pieces of CPD every month there for reporting radiographers, which is absolutely brilliant, isn't it? Because again, CPD, although we're expected to do it, and we do it, but it's hard to sometimes get opportunities for variance in CPD. So yeah, it's a perfect opportunity for that. So what's the format of the meetings then? Do you have case reviews, lectures? Is there opportunities to network? How are the meetings structured?
It's quite variable. We tend to flex to what our members want, and we have done a couple of surveys along the way to our members, anonymous online surveys, to kind of sense check what we're doing, what works well, and what they'd like more of in the future. We encourage all members to kind of bring case studies and learning points and to present those. And we actually found that at first we were booking in too many case studies to the hour session, and it didn't allow time for kind of questions and queries and conversation. So we kind of learned that along the way. And then we are also trying to bring in expert speakers in amongst as well for particular topics that members ask for. So we've had Professor Bev Snaith talking about advancing practice, levels of practice. We have had speakers around being an expert witness and forensic side of things. And we've also had a consultant rheumatologist come and talk about Paget's disease. So it's really very varied, I would say. And we really do try and flex to what's asked for, but we really do try as well build in that time for conversation afterwards, because I think that's the point of the group. And if we don't have that time for people to connect and ask questions, it's kind of wasted, really.
And also, Helen mentioned about the sign-ups, which it's been quite a vital tool, really, that the Society of Radiographers have kind of given us access to, because it's given the members a forum to speak to each other without having to go through myself and Helen. And quite a lot of the conversations that are popped in the forum sometimes guide what content we do. If there's like an issue that appears to be like a general issue for a lot of people, or if there's an idea that sparked a lot of interest, then we can kind of get those people onto the SIG meetings and to discuss it for everybody, and then people can ask questions. So that helps plan what sort of topics to touch on going forward as well.
Brilliant. I need to remember to ask you to allow me access to that sign-ups. I keep forgetting, but yeah, it's a really good platform. And I guess for people listening, we've already covered a lot of elements of it. But if I was listening, thinking, right, well, why should I join this group? If I was to ask you to sort of summarize the key objectives of the group, what would the key objectives be?
I think it's that member-driven, support network for shared learning and a sense of community. And I think, like Selina said, a safe space that was so important to us, so that we can support right through from your brand new trainee reporting radiographer to that consultant radiographer with 20 years experience, and really share that kind of wisdom and expertise right across the UK.
Yeah. Brilliant. And where do you see the group developing over the next few years? Because you've already said it started relatively small. You didn't expect it to grow as much as it has, which is brilliant. Where do you see things developing? Are you just taking it kind of month on month, or have you got sort of medium long-term plans for this group?
I didn't think we would ever have over 300 members. Did you, Selina?
Not at all, and it spans like across the UK as well. You know, there's a definite need. I think it highlights that there has been a need where people just want to come together with a shared interest. So yeah, it's quite surprising sometimes, and quite often every time we have a meeting, that kind of snowballs, and people must tell their work colleagues, and then we usually get quite a few requests. More people wanting to join. Yeah, it's just it has snowballed, and it's definitely evolved over the time since we started it.
I don't think we're massively like strategic in our direction. It's actually quite nice to not be, and I think from our perspective, we will continue to provide this resource and this space and this group as long as people are passionate and interested to attend it. And I think we've been kind of bowled over by the passion and the interest in this kind of group of radiographers. It kind of makes you, it's really uplifting to be surrounded by that kind of positivity. And when we know that everyone's working in really kind of under pressure and difficult circumstances, but they still want to do CPD on a lunchtime or an evening, it's fantastic. I think we'll continue to check in with our members. I think that's really important to us. And I guess the other thing that we're trying to do now is to think about how we support that next generation of reporting radiographers. So we have a webinar series planned for World Radiography Day that is aimed at student radiographers and assistant practitioners. And that's been entirely provided by SIG members, where we're going to provide case studies and learning and talking about career pathways, open access, free, online. And we're going to see how that goes and ask for some feedback and kind of take it from there, really. But interest's been really good already.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah. Is it free to join the group, by the way? Because it's done through the site of radiographers. If I was a non-member, am I able to join, or is it just free and open to everybody?
Yeah, you are able to join even as a non-member, but obviously we would encourage SOR membership.
I can't imagine there'll be many reporting radiographers who aren't members, but I just thought I'd ask just to make it clear.
Sorry, I just wanted to add as well. A lot of there's quite a big portion of our members that actually aren't associated with the trust either. So you don't have to be employed by a trust to be a member. You can be an ex-reporting radiographer who's maybe ventured into something else and still want to keep the clinical or the skills up. Some people have gone out into lecturing or into private industry. So we're not restricting where you work or if you're currently working as a reporting radiographer.
Fantastic. And as someone who works in the private industry, it can be very isolating. So to be able to have that support still is really valuable. Where can we find out more about the group then, and how do we join?
So if you were to Google UK Reporting Radiographer Special Interest Group, it would come up. And we also have an email address, which is sts.nereprads@nhs.net. And you can also find us both on LinkedIn. We're pretty prolific on there as well.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much. I think that's everything. But I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of everyone that attends these meetings, because I know from experience how hard it is to put on events like this, to manage a group, all the admin in the background and all the planning and preparation that goes into it on top of your normal jobs is very, very difficult. So I'm sure everybody appreciates it. I certainly do. I think you both do an incredible job with it, and I can only wish every success for the group in future, and I'm sure it's going to go from strength to strength. But Helen, Selina, thank you so much for that. It's been a pleasure. I hope you listeners have enjoyed it. Yeah, and go on to the SOR website for more information. I'm sure I'll be able to put a link to that on the comments as well, so be able to click on there and have a look. But yeah, thanks very much for listening, everyone. I'll be doing some more CPD videos shortly, but yeah, take care, everyone, for now, and yeah, see you soon. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.